Hello everyone, and hello everybody, and a very warm welcome back to New Age Championship. It's myself, Zabih, and we are live for round 4 here at the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, as we're already ready to go racing at Jeddah, of course, as we hear the Jeddah Corniche circuit to go racing and go some great racing here in qualifying already. It's myself, Zabih, and I'll be on the commentary mic for the rest of the night, taking you all through this one, hoping to have some good fun and enjoy it, because we're surely gonna be having a good night. So that is definitely a nice one out here, and we're moving forward. Hopefully everything is going to be good, as we have some drivers out on track already and getting things up. So just before we have drivers starting their flying laps, some of them are already starting their flying laps, but before we get into things, let's just have a look at the Drivers' Championship. So moving forward, it's Tyron who leads ahead of Brando in second place. Tyron's got 79 points with 3 wins in 3 rounds for him. That's surely we are looking for a new winner here tonight, but we are yet to find him out yet, and we'll definitely know whether we have one or not. Brando in second place, he's got 1 pole position, and it's Daisy in the P3. Only 1 point, just 1 point ahead of Brando. Brando is ahead of Dees, so Dees in P3, just 1 point behind Brando. Then Fino in P4 with 26 points, or 6 points ahead of Ian, who's just 2 points ahead of his teammate Oliver, which is an interesting thing to say. So just separated by 2 points and 2 teammates, and 1 point behind is Midu in that Mercedes. He's not far behind as well. Michael in that Sauber. That should be Evil, of course, with Zerki himself is Brando out on track, 16 points, 1 point behind Midu as well. Then it's Robello with 10, and Archie with 10 points to his name as well. So a lot of drivers now out on a flying lap, so we'll surely try and catch up with this championship quite quickly. So Alvaro in 11th place, 8 points to himself. Then it's Edward in P12 at 6 points, 4 points each to Romero and Ouija, with Russo and Thomas with 1 point each. Then the ones behind without a point to their name. There's drivers already going over the line. That's going to get, so man who hasn't got pole, who hasn't got points at all this season, are going to go over the line. Just look at things as Edwards going to go over the line. 1:30.0 from Edwards, and Brando P2, 1:30.0 from him as well. At the moment, Macho 1:29.6. That is a pretty rapid time from Macho. Meanwhile, others are out there as well. What about Chaos? As we're going to be looking at the Constructors' title later on in the innings. Then let's focus on things and on racing right now, and it's gonna be Brooks, the man. We had Carter Reeves, the only McLaren from the last few races. It's going to be Brooks then in this one. 1:29.2 so far. Goes fastest of them all. Anybody else who's yet to cross the line? It's Days Jory, the man third in the Drivers' Championship after 3 rounds. How good is this one going to be from him? Over that finish line. In fact, he doesn't put a time on board, so not sure whether he invalidated or something quite happened. In fact, that did not update. That did not update at all, and surely that is the reason why we did not see his time as he goes P3, but pushed wide, pushed down in no time from Tyrone, the man. He's got 2 pole positions, actually. 1 pole position has been from Brando, and he's taken about 3 wins in 3 races. What about his teammate, though? He's a bit down in that Drivers' Championship. How good is this one? 1:30.2, only good enough for P10 at the moment. Alright, so what about Edward? He's coming around the final corner, not improving on this one. He's looking like to be going over the line, but does he go into the pit lane? Yes, he does, understandably. Anybody else on a quick lap? Anybody else on a flying lap? Everyone has it, and Russo's finally back, as we did not have him in the last 2 rounds. So that is interesting. Let's get these things up, and we're just looking at things, you know, how good this one is going to be, how good is all of this going to be from all of these drivers. You know, they're all going to be trying their best. They're all going to be doing what they can here in qualifying, of course. Quali is a different one, so you know, it's a different thing from the race. 25 laps, 26 laps, I believe, 50% races here around JEDDAH it is, but we're yet to find things. Meanwhile, the Mercedes drive is Checo coming over the line. He's invalidated his lap. Was he going to be improving? No, there was surely going to be a cool down lap, and that explains it. And that's understandably, probably he might have just invalidated it himself from you know, by his own things, because surely he did not want to do that. So of course, multi-stream, just like the previous the previous round, stream on my own account along with the league channel. So of course, it's surely going to be a lot of fun going forward in this one. Meanwhile, the 2 teammates, in fact, it's Doug, who's Wiggy in P10 at the moment. One of the RBs, that is special. So there's new names in these ones, I believe. So not quite sure which one's Oliver. I believe this is one of them. This is Ian, maybe, but if you know, do let me know, because they surely, you know, definitely don't have the same name as in the Drivers' Championship as in right now on the basically in the game, which gets it a little bit difficult to guess, but that's fine. Meanwhile, Freaky Freddy goes P11, goes 11th fastest. What about Evil then across that line, improving by over 2 seconds over that finish line, goes P9. 1:30.6 from him is going to be. What about Carter Reeves and the other McLaren? One McLaren at a time. What about the other one over that finish line? And just beginning his flying lap at the moment as it stands. So Checo did not improve on the previous one. Of course, he had a cool down lap. Does he improve on this flying lap? Yes, he does. 1:19.7 that is going to be. 1:29.776 that is, of course. Job well done to Checo out there. P5 to the Mercedes driver as it stands. Anybody else yet to come across the line? Not 2 Red Bulls, but one of the Red Bull drivers without a lap time on. Both of them pretty close, and that RB, not sure who that was. That might have been Dark Helmet. No, that is special. In fact, he was trying to put a special lap time on board. He doesn't have a time on board, and despite making contact with the wall on the outside in the final corner, losing his end plate, still goes P5. He surely might just be special then out here, because he's definitely put his car fastest. The fact that he hit the wall on the outside into the final corner and still to go and take not pole, but of course still being inside the top 5 is surely a very good time. What about others though? Edward is into the pit lane. Freddy is going to be coming into the pit lane as well. Anybody else behind on a flying lap? Evil's going to be heading into the pit lane as well. What about the other RB of Death Helmet across that finish line? How good is this one going to be? Can he get any closer to his teammate? No. Only good enough for P10 as Carter Reeves, the new talented driver, goes P9. at the moment. So 9 minutes remaining in this qualifying session. Of course, it is 18 minutes of qualifying. What about, it's not Checo then? It is Checo indeed. Going to go over the line. How about his teammate Brooks? It's just going to be beginning his flying lap. What about Days? It's just coming into the pit lane. Coda Reeves at the moment. In fact, what about Russo in the other Ferrari just starting his flying lap? Meanwhile, one of the Haas drivers starting their lap as well, JEDDAH. Beginning their flying lap. So all 20 drivers. This is sure going to be fun because all 20 drivers in front of your screen, ladies and gentlemen. 20 of them out here. Like, this is definitely going to be interesting and surely some great fun because all 20 of them trying to go over the line, trying to go fastest, put a lap time on board, with Williams leading the championship. Meanwhile, the two Red Bull drivers, Macho over the line, has invalidated his lap. He's giving tow to his teammate. How good is one is that going to be? Only P17? Surely he's let his teammate past, I believe, and definitely he's invalidated, and that explains why he hasn't done the job he should have done, and hasn't quite put a lap good enough that he should have as it stands. And surely P17, I mean, he's going to be improving without a doubt. Maybe he might have just made a mistake and then let that go, or let that slip away from his hands for the moment and not try to improve further. Tyrone has taken 2 pole positions in the last 2 rounds, I believe, or Brenda took in Australia, I believe, so he did not take pole in that second round. He did take pole in that 3rd round. What about the McLaren? He slowed down in the middle of the track. What about Russo? Oh, in fact, what about Russo? He in fact will be on a flying lap over that finish line. How good is that one going to be? P12, then 130.6. There's an Alpine right behind of Cardas, who's just going to be beginning his flying lap. In fact, it's not Cardas, it is Tyra. It was one of the Alpines. They have started their flying lap. That was Romero, but then Tyrone has went even more faster, and he's went further away from all of these drivers to try and catch him up. 127.7. He extends his pole margin at the moment and keeps pole to himself as it stands. What about Fino in that Red Bull? He's not going to be doing much of a lap. Meanwhile, Macho does find a bit of an improvement, I believe, because surely Brooks was in P2, I think. So Macho has found a bit of an improvement. Or no, he might have not been on a flying lap. He might just be going to starting his flying lap just right now, because as it stands, I will see how good is this one, because 29.0 looks pretty good of a lap, 2/10 further than Brooks, but he might have done that lap on the previous one, you know, when he was giving tow to his teammate. Rather, his teammate could not improve, you know. So we just yet to find out, though, because one of the Mercedes drivers, but in fact they are just beginning their flying laps over to this first sector, is not improving, so that sure explains that he's on a cooldown lap. But if we enable the right, so it shows green still while he's on none. I thought that if it was showing green and he was actually halfway his battery he was using it. So surely he's done that flying lap right now, and definitely improved that at the moment. Cardace is not around that finish line. Meanwhile, one man is, and that is Romero over to that finish line at P11. Moves to P11 at the moment as it stands. Just a 1/10 ahead of the car behind, and still 3/10 behind to the car ahead of him. Is it Tyrone going over the line? Surely Tyrone will not be going over the line, I believe. Edward will be, does improve by 5/10 and goes P9 into the top 10. Gets himself closer. Still, there's 3 drivers. There's 3 drivers in the 130.0s, 2 in the 129.7s, and one of them 29.2, 29.6 from D's, 29.753 from Special. Despite hitting the wall, so I'm surely excited to see how good he does over the line when he does have a time. When he does not make a mistake, when he gets a mistake-free lap. You know, when the Mercedes drivers started their flying lap earlier on, that has to be Checo now. He's getting all that tow from the Haas car. He wants that Haas to get out of the way now, because that's going to be way too late if he does not. But let's see how good of a lap this one is, and how much of a speed he's picked up from that Haas. He surely has picked up a big tow as he moves in the 128, and he goes P3 because 128.8 from him, as Evil has just done a lap that is good enough for P2 then. Came out of nowhere, pushed Macho down, and at the moment, let's see whether he's put his Telemetry on none on hot lap as this stands. He slowed down. Surely his lap has been compromised, and he might slow down just right now because Evil has put a lap in good enough for P2, and definitely Checo's lap would have been good enough for P2, but Evil has put a lap even better. So definitely that's going to be big job. Brooks maybe now just starting his lap. He was one of the very first drivers to do a lap. Tyron still fastest though. Nobody yet closer to Tyron, because still Tyron, despite Evil putting a time of 1:28.855, a pretty fast lap as compared to some of the drivers around, you know, a few by now. But still, Tyron is even better. Tyron is in another league, 1:27.7, 1.1 seconds ahead of the rest of the pack. That surely has to be a big lap and a big margin, you have to say. Meanwhile, Freddie in that Aston Martin over the line will not be improving. Anybody else trying to go over the line? Surely Dave will be. And wow, good is this one going to be from Dave. He hasn't got a time on board, and the only driver without a time on board goes into P15. What about Midu, who should be going over the line as well? Doesn't improve, in fact. 8/10, over 8/10 down on his previous laps. Cannot clap, cannot find enough Brett time. What about Russo, who's just going to be beginning his flying lap? Meanwhile, Dees will not be starting his lap. In fact, will be going over the line, but he's not improving as well as he's invalidated. There's some of the drivers right behind him. If they do improve, we'll get to know. No, they do not. Checo it is, but Checo has saved up all of his battery, and now he's got the RB ahead of him. How good is this one going to be from him, though? Because he needs that RB to get out of the way as soon as possible, because surely you can ask for some tow, but I think that tow is useless apart from like the back straight just before the finish line, and then the other parts of the lap. Meanwhile, Special still in P5. Meanwhile, the McLaren of Brooks going to be coming over the line. He was going to be improving, and how much of an improvement that was going to be? No, that was going to be nothing. Meanwhile, Evil has retired as well, so surely Tyron and Evil think that they've got deal done, and they surely have done a lap time good enough that they think is going to be okay and decent enough, or at least basically that's all they've got. They can't improve even further, and definitely Tyron has got enough confidence that he will be taking pole, and nobody ever is getting closer to him at all. Meanwhile, Dave is not improving at all as he's in that middle sector, and definitely he's not improving, but of course understandably so. He would have been on a cool down lap to save your battery, do a cool down lap, get your tyres ready and do another lap once more. What about Russo in the other Ferrari? He needs to be closer to his teammate, who's in P7 at the moment. How good is this one going to be over that finish line? Does he get closer? No. Does improve by about 2/10, but only improves one position. P14 goes P13. Needs a lot of time, needs definitely a lot of time. What about Carter Reeves, though? His teammate's currently P7 as well, so Dees did a better time than over the line. Carter Reeves does a very good one as well. Goes P8. In the end, okay, all right. Not sure what was. I think then. Are they bugged? Because Evil, I didn't see complete a lap time. Ended up getting a lap, and okay, surely. Because I'm sure I saw. Okay, he's got no battery. That means he's done a lap before this one. But the fact that I did go to Days, but he was not on a flying lap. So that is one thing I'm a bit concerned about. That these overlays maybe not signal you the best way you want them to do. What about Brando, though? Does he signal to his team the best way possible? No, not at the moment. 9 seconds down. One lap on these tires, so he just came out, and now might just be starting his flying lap as it stands. Then is Zurki, which is of course Brando at the moment, and the qualifying is over, of course. So now anybody who goes over the line is going to be the final lap for them. Dave is into the pit lane. Any of the Ferrari drivers could take the party or snatch it up from anybody else around here. What about Russo in the other Ferrari? How good is this one going to be? Over that line, doesn't improve at all, stays where he is. What about Dees? He's sure got the biggest opportunity to take pole. No, he isn't. He's not on a flying lap. What about the other McLaren of Carter Reeves? He did the lap previously as well. So that as it stands, then that is going to be pole for Tyron, unless somebody could do something about it. What about Checo? Is he going to be improving? No. Or is he in fact improving over the line? No, he's not improving as we see the time. He will not be improving at all. So over the line, that then will be the end of qualifying with only 2 cars out on track. And pretty much only Freddy's out on track. He's currently in P17. He needs to improve a minimum of 5 or 4 seconds to even get anywhere closer to Tyrone. So as it stands then, Tyrone has taken pole once more as he takes 2 pole position in a row. Here to Saudi Arabian GP with Evil right behind in P2. Checo with a pretty good lap from him as well in P3. With Macho, a very good lap from him while his teammate is down in P19. Is surely a pretty good lap from him. So this is a nice one. I think it's a good one, apart from the top 3. The fact that everybody's doing a good job, you know, from P3 onwards. I think drivers, most of them all being in the 129s is a pretty close call and a pretty good job in my opinion. So now let's not waste any time and have a look at the drivers finishing their lap. Meanwhile, some of them are talking through their, basically through their in-app chat, in-game chat, basically, not in-game voice chat that they are chasing. Of course, my mic is muted, so they will not be hearing me at all. But pretty cool. So now we just wait. Qualifying's over, and we just wait for one thing, and that is the race here at the Saudi Arabian GP. Of course, there's going to be many laps, and we will be looking good for this one. As we didn't get the qualifying results, then that is interesting. We didn't get to announce who's going to be on pole, which is interesting. We just skipped that screen. So I'll just read out the qualifying results for you out here from the screenshot I've got. That is Tyrone in pole, in P1 on pole position with Evil on the front row. Then it's Checo in P3 with Macho in P4, followed by D's completing the top 5. Just outside is Special, Brooks, Cotter-Reeves. Both of them, Brooks and Cotter-Reeves, P7 and 8 for the McLaren team. Looking pretty good. Solid as a team. P9 for Helmet. Then comes Brando, P10 for him after a good fight in one of the previous rounds. He's down again and just in top 10. With Mido in P11, followed by Edward, Russo, Romero, and Dave in P15. Then just outside are Shots, Clinical Shots, Freddy, guys, Fino, Cardes, and as we're just getting started, there's going to be the formation lap that we will have, and after that we'll go racing, and we will definitely go we've got some great racing between these guys. So looking at this one, all 20 drivers starting here at the Saudi Arabian GP. This is definitely a big one and a big race for New Age Championship here tonight. Round 4 of the season. This might just be the best race of the season so far. We're yet to find out though. Every single one of them is starting on the medium compound tyre apart from Dave and Fino. So the 2 are going different. 2 are going unorthodox as compared to everybody else. But surely every single one of them is going to be putting all the efforts to do all they can. Surely one man on your screen is going to be the one most favourite to win, unless there's a mistake, or the challenge of Evil in the Sauber or Checo in the Mercedes could prove that wrong, along with Macho and D's as well. A bunch of good drivers around here, so definitely going towards turn 1, keeping it clean towards turn 1 is going to be their biggest challenge just so far. As we just get started, we have cars ready, and as definitely there's a bunch of cars, actually 2 Sauber, in fact. Oh, they're disqualified, Evil and Checo, so not sure why was that, but look at that, Tyrone's far ahead of the rest of the pack, so definitely his tires are going to be cold by the time the final car, let's say, the car does parks up into his grid spot. So as soon as we are ready to go racing and 5 lights are out, we will have next one get started, and we'll have you get started. And we have the cars ready as we're ready to go racing here in the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. It's going to be 5 lights out and we go racing here in the Jeddah Corniche circuit. It's a very rapid start from Evil there going towards stand 1. It's a fantastic start for the Sauber driver down the inside line. He sends it and takes the lead of the Grand Prix. Meanwhile, Checo's coming back at him as well down the outside, side by side. They're going to be well to well heading towards stand 4. Who is he going to be late to the brakes? It's Checo again. Tyrant's had a miserable start despite the 2 getting disqualified from the formation lap. Have had fantastic starts. Meanwhile, over the back, Macho in P4 with Dees in P5, Special in P6 with the Brooks in P7. Meanwhile, Dees makes a move on Macho as Macho goes super wide, and that then allows Brooks to get through as well. That is a rapid start. Meanwhile, side by side, there's going to be Brenda going down the inside line of Ed Brooks and made that move. Could have reached right behind, and the other McLaren is doing all he can as well to keep his car on the straight. Meanwhile, soft air runners, Dave has got an absolutely fantastic start. Then in P10, followed by Edward in P11. Just outside is Wiggy at the moment, just getting overtaken by Fino. Fino, who of course did not have a good qualifying at all now, maybe trying to do a good job here in this race so far, already into P12 for the end of that one. With Romero in P14, Days in P15, with Freaky in P16 at the moment, followed by Russo in P18. He surely had a miserable start, if I'm not mistaken, because position changes. He's lost out 4 positions, and what a miserable start from Death Helmet then. He surely has made a mistake. I wonder if he's got anything missing on his car as he's already getting overtaken, or if he is overtaken down the inside line. Mido and Death Helmet, both of them currently find themselves 19th and 20th. Has to be a big start. Meanwhile, the top 2 in this race are fighting each other. Tyrone hasn't managed to keep it, get his left lead back so far. Meanwhile, Checo has taken that race lead from Evil, who took it from Tyrone heading towards turn 1 at that race start. And now, this is a fantastic start in all 20 cars on the track. Let's see how many finish. I'd say maximum 15 cars finish. Or 16, let's make 16 maximum. Because this is Saudi, but this is not Monaco. Meanwhile, Dave makes another move. Surely Dave and Finu are doing all they can. Meanwhile, Coda Reeves, as we talk about cars finishing, there's already a car in the wall. I doubt he's going to be out of the race though, but we already have our virtual safety car out here as yellow flags are out, and Coda Reeves has put it in the wall. There is a bunch of debris out on track, and that is going to be causing that virtual safety car to be out there, and for the marshals to have enough time to clean the track, to completely empty any debris out on it, to not allow any problems out there. It's a virtual safety car, so it should be ending anytime soon, but so stops still, so I think 25 laps, a 1 stop could be on the way, of course. You know, medium hard is going to be the best way. Soft tire is, I'd say it's only best for qualifying, in my opinion, especially here on this year's game F1 25. So as it stands then, Evil in P2, leads Siron in P3, hasn't managed to keep his lead, get his lead to himself. Look at the gap then. These guys, are they overtaking? Look at this one, Fino and Wiggy. Wiggy's letting him pass. Wiggy's let Fino get past. Maybe Fino Wiggy was too slow, or Wiggy had to get slow down to allow him to get to Fino to get past. That was going to be the case. Meanwhile, DRS is enabled along with some yellow flags out there, and definitely those getting waved. It's going to be all together at the front between these drivers. Tyrone's lost out time. Tyrone, in fact, he hasn't lost out any time at all. Evil has lost out time to Checo there, surely, because under the virtual safety car you would need to slow down and keep the delta positive. Tyrone for a moment could have thought to go down the inside line, but not at this moment, not there just yet though, because surely he wants to be going for it, but not at the moment. He's not going for it as it stands though. When will he be going for it though? We're yet to find out and yet to know. Meanwhile, let's move this out of the way and give you a better viewing experience of these drivers going on board with Tyrone. Now Evil, meanwhile, Checo has managed to pull away 1.3 seconds. That is absolute great lead from Checo at this point. Tyrone's not far away from Evil at this point, because with the DRS enabled and that rear being open on that Williams, is going to be a proper chance for Tyrone to make that move. Surely that is coming just right now. He goes defensive on the inside line, but can he move defensive position though? No, he can't. Round the outside, is going to make that move stick. and take that position. Oh, that's close between Special and D's. Then surely Tyron is going to have Evil come back at him. So will have D's. Special come back at him, and now Macho's going to be there as well, side by side. This could be 3 wide going towards stand 1. Who is this going to be? Then down the inside line, round the outside. Who is he going to be? The side by side. They almost made contact. Special is left behind. We want Macho and D's side by side. Who has the better exit out of this one now? It is Macho, and makes that move. Gets ahead of D's. And getting to work to that main straight. Dings was defending from Special. Now out of nowhere came Macho and overtakes D's. Gets himself to P4. The top 3 are pretty much in their own race, but the rest of the pack are absolutely thrilled to get this race started, to get this race ready. And now another move from Brendo. It is this time Special losing out positions then. Surely struggling on these medium tires. Only 3 laps in, but still Brendo finding the grips and traction to get himself ahead of the car in front of him. Meanwhile, there's another yellow flag. Not quite sure what happened, but it's at the very back at car days with Cutter Reeves far behind. Cutter Reeves now needs a safety car. He needs somebody to get him off. And Tyron now, as soon as he's in second place and has overtaken Evil, he's making his ground back again, and he's making that gap. It's just over 1 second between Evil and Checo. There's only 6 tenths between these two now. Meanwhile, drivers in the back are overtaking each other, and these two are going at it as Brooks is going to go round the outside of Brendo and make that move and get himself back ahead again. And I think that detection point, that DRS detection, might have that Sauber have his rear wing open on him. Yes, he does, though. McLaren doesn't have his rear wing open. We are just onto that DRS zone now. The RB is heading in the pit lane. Surely there was some problem with him, but now Brendo's going to be with it on the inside line. They're going to make contact very late on the brakes, even around the outside. Now has the inside line, does Brooks. Pushes the RB a little bit wide. The Sauber a little bit wide. And we are back. Out on track, Brooks taking that 6th place once more. As I said, this might be one of the best races of the season, as Days has got a penalty. ZEDDAH has got a 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane, as at the moment only on that 5 out of 25, ladies and gentlemen. And this is some absolutely fantastic action between these drivers as it stands. Fantastically done by them so far, and actually a lot of gaps have increased. Tyron still job well done to Checo, though. He hasn't let Tyron catch up to him. Surely he's still within 1 second, maybe going to have that DRS, but still not close enough. Hasn't even allowed him to get anywhere closer for an overtake or for a chance for him to overtake. At least at the moment maintains that enough gap for him to stay ahead and stay in that race lead. Meanwhile, one man hasn't done enough to get him keep his position to himself so far is Romero, as he loses out to Dave, or he's caught up to Edward. Not quite sure. He might have done, though, because Wiggy does just get up to Edward now and gets ahead of both the Aston Martins. Meanwhile, Freddie tried to go around the outside of his teammate, but can't quite do it. One man might be about to overtake and get ahead. Would have been Tyrone, but just not close enough. Remains 1/10 separating these two. Could have thought that there's going to be a change for that race lead. Meanwhile, Dave heads into those pit lane. Of course, those soft tires aren't going to be lasting him anywhere closer, anytime more than 5 laps. So surely a lap 1 incident was going to be a big one as well, because we saw a lot of drivers lose out positions at that start. So definitely a lot of problems were going to be there. Meanwhile, there's a yellow flag, and that is ZEDDAH, who's retired from the session and might have just put his car in the wall. He has slight wing damage, so I'm not quite sure what's happening, but that is an absolutely dangerous place to park out there, and I won't be surprised if there is a safety car coming out just right now. As it stands, it doesn't seem to be coming out right now, though, because it seems pretty clear between the two. No problems as it stands. We know Macho is pretty close to Evil, and now Evil in that Sauber could be in big pressure for losing out his race lead, his third place, the podium, the final place on the podium. And these drivers are out there to try and give themselves the best chance, the best opportunity for them to go around the outside. But he's going to be going for it. Macho is going to send it around the outside into the final corner and overtake it. But now that might have Evil get that DRS, though, with that rear wing open and that detection point being a bit further on the track, actually. That might give Sauber that DRS. Yes, it does give him the DRS. He's had that rear wing open, but the Red Bull driver pulls away enough to keep himself ahead of him. Meanwhile, Death and these guys are fighting. Wiggy and Death, Dart. It's not Death, it's actually Dart Helmet. So Helmet are fighting each other in at the back. Meanwhile, Edward has overtaken. Some of them is pitting. Wiggy has pitted, and surely he might have made contact. And made a lot of contact, actually. We not a lot of contact, but surely going side by side with them would have made him contact. He's going to get his rear front wing replaced along with his tyres, and that is then going to be hard tyres going on to the mediums off, hards on. Going to be the job between these two. Meanwhile, this little overtake, this little battle which we might want to be having a look at is going to be the one between Days, Midu and Special, because Midu and Special are even further closer to each other at this point as it stands. Meanwhile, Coda Reeves and Wig the dog. Wig has got both of them crashed, I believe. I want to crash. Surely Coda Reeves did crash. Not crash, but basically put his car in the wall and get his car damaged. Same happened to Wig then. So surely Wiggy scored points in the previous race. I might have been happy about that in Angry, but he's struggling a little bit. Surely struggling, goes wide even now. So he already has a penalty, actually. Does have a 3-second time penalty, so that must have came from going wide on the track, which could be understandable. Meanwhile, these two separated by, that is crazy. That is a lot of gap. Only 3/10 separated by each other. Meanwhile, Romero and the Helmet are going to be with each other side by side. Action could be coming up between these two, as it looks like both of them are going to be there. Rear wing's going to be open on that Alpine. How long before he could overtake him, or is he going to be any closer for it to go for an overtake in turn one? No, he will not be closer, but does he go for it? Yes, he does. Sends it on the inside line. Does Romero? That was a dive bomb on that RP, and what an attempt that was. Surely aggressive. Absolutely aggressive from Romero there, but can't quite make the mistake. Went deep, went wide, and absolutely couldn't keep it on track to keep that position to himself, as he has to lose out on that and lose out to not to himself, but of course to Helmet, and can't keep that position. He was not close enough. I was surely not thinking. Was thinking that he was not going to be going for it, but he did, and now that's the problem. See, he was within 1 second. He was within a few tenths. Surely, if not now, in the next DRS zone, he surely would have got ahead of Helmet, but now he's over 1.2 seconds behind him. 1.1 second, over 1 second. That one mistake has now cost him not only that place that he was trying to overtake, but also his own place might be in big danger, because Russo's 4/10 behind, and 1.1 to 1.3 seconds to Edward, but still, they're now getting closer. One more mistake, that's gonna be job well done. Job well done to Edward or Russo at this point, because there's not a lot of a gap between those guys. But now there is one man who has no gap to the car in front, and that is Freddy, getting overtaken by Evil. Freddy goes down the inside and goes super deep, straight into the wall, into the final corner. Not sure what happened there, because it looked like he did not want to brake at all. Has headed straight to the wall. Meanwhile, Evil now loses out to Dees there, because Evil got ahead of that Aston Martin, but now is to lose out to that Dees, and definitely that explains that. These guys have pitted as it stands, as Dees now gets ahead of his teammate as well. Russo lets Dees get past and overtake, and now Russo will want Dees would want Russo to do all he can to keep himself behind and to keep himself ahead of that other Ferrari. Meanwhile, Dees goes super wide, and he's made a mistake trying to overtake the Aston Martin ahead. That might see both the Ferraris go side by side. Is Russo going to go ahead of his teammate now, trying to attempt to overtake his teammate? No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't quite do that, but now that Evil's going to be with that mistake to Dees. Maybe Russo would have been trying to stay ahead of Dees, but then not too long before there's going to be problems for Dees to really defend, to really work on, because Russo might be in big pressure from Evil at the moment. Right now, Russo has that DRS. Surely, as long as he has DRS from his teammate, it's going to be okay, but not far. It won't be too long before that gap between the two Ferrari drivers is going to be over 1 second. It's already over 1 second, and now down the inside line into the final corner once more. He's going to be going for it, and down the inside line sends that move just the Ferrari star driver and overtakes Edward and makes the move into P7. Job well done. Gets ahead. A lot of drivers now eventually pitting and going on to a set of hard tyres, which should just see them go on to the end of this race. Meanwhile, Evil's going to have another chance, though. He was overtaken by the Ferraris, but now he's going to try and overtake the Aston Martin. He's at 9 lap on those medium tyres. That's going to be big of a problem as compared to the 2 lap medium tyres on the Sauber, on that kick Sauber, and definitely now, even before that DRS, there could be an opportunity for the Sauber as we're on board with Evil out there. Michael goes down the inside line. He's going to go and send it on the inside line, though, or does he back out? No, he doesn't want to back out, and sends it on the inside line. An absolute overtake from him, and now Macho's going to be right behind, and he's through as well. That's a double overtake from Evil, and then Macho came on. Edward is only falling back and backwards from his positions, one after the other, and he's not having the race so far, and surely, understandably so. He's 9 laps on his medium tires, and definitely they will not be working, but I'm sure he maybe wants to keep this working and eventually actually keep his things in a way. The fact that, you know, his maintaining, which is going to be, of course, oh, there's going to be a big crash. There's going to be a big crash at the back. Nearly. They're super lucky to survive this one, as we're talking about Edward, you know, having trying to complete 10 laps on these medium tires, only damn pit. Evil having pitted earlier, now he's going to send another car into the wall, and what happened to that Red Bull? Definitely there has to be a safety car. I don't know whether it's a safety car or a virtual safety car, but so many cars right now hitting the wall, colliding, and so many of them going in towards each other as well. And definitely that's a safety car. Oh, that's a virtual safety car eventually. Not quite sure though, because oh, it's a safety car. Yeah. It says virtual safety car, but it is the safety car, full safety car. And again, it's going to be the bug. Oh, Russo there almost goes into the back of Brando. That could have been pretty unlucky. It says virtual safety car, but this main safety car is out on the track. I could see it's in the mini map, and also on that board, which shows I think lap 11 laps to get that first safety car out. Well done to these guys. I don't know what happened, because Evil was, I think, going side by side with one of the cars. He simply went into him, and in the end literally ended up, you know, into the wall, and definitely that is not the best way you'd want. It's not the best way you'd want, right? Just wanting to get things ready, and after him, I believe he went again into Macho, or Macho went into him. That then tore so much debris on track, and somewhat a safety car as it stands. Tyrone in P1 still leads. He's taking his lead back from Checo. Continues on. Checo is in P2. Evil, remember, started P2, nowhere to be found. Dees did a good job in P3 at the moment, but he's heading into the pit lane, then maybe trying to, surely has a 10-second time penalty as well, so best time to pay his 10-second penalty, and then get his car, get new tires on his car as well. That's going to be a set of hard tires, I believe, because trying to go to the end on a set of mediums from now on is going to be a nightmare, and definitely might not be many laps to the end. And he's going on to a set of mediums. That is interesting. So maybe he wants to count out those laps behind the safety car, because you know, it's lap 12 right now, so maybe he thinks that by the time safety car goes in, it's going to be, you know, the start of lap 14 or lap 15, which might just see him do lap 10 or 11 laps on those medium tires. But surely I think he needs these medium tires at the moment. You know, he's fallen down to P13, so having to pit again he's lost out a lot of positions. So that means that he wants to make some progress on these tires, on all the ones against on the hard compound tire, but it won't be too long before these tires run out of grip. Safety car still continue on, and as in this race, we've lost one driver, JEDDAH, and every single one of them is still out there. And I think 11 laps in, we are 12 laps in, only one driver out. That has to be a great job between these drivers, that's for sure, because they've done a good job, and so have everyone out there. And Tyrone, the man that lost his lead heading towards turn one, gained it back, now leads the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix with Checo in P2, followed by Macho in P3. That's an absolute brilliant start from the Red Bull driver there. Brando in P4 as well. Russo in P5 is in a good position as well, with the helmet in P6 after colliding. I think it's a good one to hit. After a disastrous start it was, I believe, to him, and then somebody else around him as well. Midu, I think. So it's a good one as well. Vigi in P7 despite a collision. Romero in P8. He had an absolute dive bomb, but still there in P8. A good one for him. Brooks in P9. Dave completes the top 10. Just outside Amidu, Evil, D's, Special, Fino, Edward, Freddy, Cutter Reeves, and Carday. So safety car should be coming in this lap, I believe. I doubt it's going to stay out another lap, so a possible lap 13 restart, a lap 14 restart. So let's have a look at these penalties as it stands. So 3-second penalties to Brando, Wiggy, Dave, and Brady. Drive-through penalties to Cardes, along with 10 seconds to Romero. These are some big penalties as it stands. So it's going to be a nice one, full grid out here, and as soon as we have the safety car in, we'll pick up the action and go racing once more. Alright, so the safety car still stays out, it's not going in, and so definitely now it is indeed going to be a lap 14. Not lap 14, but lap 15 restart. No, lap safety car going at the end of the upcoming lap, which is going to be lap 14. So lap 15 restart is going to see us have about 10 laps to the end. 10 laps to the end of the Grand Prix. Good enough for that medium tire? I think you'd think so. And still, you're getting somewhere on these tires. You're not pushing on these tires, but still, you get a bunch of wear on these tires despite not pushing on them. So definitely, you don't want to use them a lot. And Special's got a 10-second time penalty for ignoring the yellow flag, and that means. Where is he actually? He's behind the safety car, so I'm not sure why he's got that, because maybe he's overtaken someone. That could only be the reason I could think about it, because if he's got that penalty right now, which unless he was away from these guys and he was told to keep his delta positive and he doesn't do that, maybe drive through penalty or even ignoring a flag penalty, but not now, definitely not. So we have to find out. soon as we're ready to go racing, a safety car will be in this lap, and as soon as it's in and we go green flag racing, we'll be ready for it and for the restart here at the Saudi Arabian GP. And we're ready to go racing. Tyron's already went for it. He's trying to get away from Checo there. Checo surely has. Checo has got in the way, but has Checo got in the way though, because Macho's right behind him. So is Brando behind him now. Macho's going to be going for it on the inside line. No, he doesn't quite do that. Anybody else in the back going for a move? Surely Romero is, and understandably so. We saw him making some crazy moves earlier on, and there's a driver at the back, I believe. Surely I saw somebody hitting the wall at the back, and that might be the other Alpine, and that is Cardes at the very back, struggling to keep it on track at the moment, just trying to stay away from the rest of the pack. And then maybe meanwhile an overtake from Fido there, as Abidu is going to be going super wide, and another pack of drivers making contact with each other, and they definitely will not be happy. And Vega's got another time penalty. Meanwhile around the outside, Fina's going to be going for it on the outside of Romero. He's going to make that move, but Romero can come back at him on the inside line. Meanwhile drivers at the front are going to be making some moves as well. It's going to be Edward, and it's going to be Dave Special and an Aston Martin, I believe, but almost a big mistake from him there. So there's no Aston Martin, which I thought was, but there is then nothing out there, because we are looking at this one so far as it stands, lap 15 out of 25 here, and then the safety car restart as it stands. What's the situation at the front? Our race leader is already far away from everyone, 2.4 seconds. Meanwhile, Checo's lost out positions. Checo has lost out to the top drivers, to Brando and Macho in P2 and 3 at the moment, doing their job. Meanwhile, Macho could be in, Brando could be in a bit of pressure from Checo in no time. Meanwhile, Helmut's going to be in pressure from Russo there in the other Ferrari. His teammates down in P12, but Russo's got an opportunity to go for a move down the inside line into turn 1. Is he going to be going for it? No, he will not be. Might be late on the brakes. Could be trying for it, but no at the moment. Meanwhile, drivers at the back down the inside line. Special sends it in there. That was a bit of a problem. That was crazy. Dave, he sent it on the inside line of Dave, and now he's got no front wing end play, because definitely that was a bit of an aggressive one, but now he's going to be through, trying to just stay and keep it ahead of Evil out there, Michael, that is, I believe, and just trying to do the job for his team so far, because definitely a bunch of drivers going down the inside line. Special now losing another couple of more positions as Steve is going to be through. And Edward is going to be making a move as well. Earlier on we just saw him lose positions, but now it's time for him to make the progress, make the job, do the job that he's supposed to do out there, and absolutely perform as it stands at this point. And we're to get things. I mean, now not a lot remains in this race. Sure, still over 10 laps though, so definitely, but nobody has to pit again. You know, Wig, I think, not sure what he's up to, but 9 lap. Of course, he put it earlier, so he might have not put it behind the safety car then. Meanwhile, Evil could be having a chance for a move there. Dave moving left and right to defend his position. Can he quite do it though? Yes, he can. Gets back to that racing line. These drivers are lagging out there. Meanwhile, Wig goes to the inside line, then comes back to the racing line. They're going to be making contact straight away. Wig moving on the straight line, making some contact. Meanwhile, Dave's going to be making that move on Wig. That Williams driver has absolutely put it in the wall, and he's caused another safety car. Not quite sure what happened there, but out of nowhere, in the middle of the straight, driving by himself, he's put it in the wall. Unless we've not seen something, that seems like something words I should not be using here, but that was almost putting somebody in the wall, and safety car is now out, and one more chance to everybody. And let's see if anyone is going to be going for a set of mediums or a set of soft tires now, or just continue on whatever tire they are on and keep racing. Meanwhile, I'm not quite sure what happened there, because I mean, I'd be lying if I said I'm not in shock, because surely we saw him make a bit of contact with that Haas driver, moving left and right with Dave, and in that middle of the track, I don't think he had anyone side by side. So really, so alright, so I mean, there could be two things here, of course, with the way, unless there was some kind of a bug on screen which we could not see, any driver on screen which we could not see, or something could be, I mean, not Russo in P3 there, that is interesting to see. He's on 8 lap, all the hard tyres, and now we're looking at drivers, seeing who pits again, who does not. So interestingly, the two Red Bulls have pitted and opted for a set of soft compound tyres as it stands. Macho and Fino in P12, so they're trying to do that recovery from here on in. So it's interesting to see, you know, from nobody is, then Tyron hasn't, nobody in at the top has pitted. Definitely some of the drivers went for track position, the likes of Russo, the likes of Helmet, Evil, even these now not pitting, so on at the moment on 6 lap all medium, but surely not going for another stop. I was stopping earlier on. So interesting to get things on these at the moment. Is he ghosted? I don't think so. That's just lighting out there. He's still out driving. So lap 18 out of 25. The safety car still stays out, and that should be going on, and we'll be staying out still. Let me actually make a little bit of an adjustment to one of the logos out here. Still want to keep it. Let's keep it out here, which might be a better position in terms of the track map being visible and the logo still being out there as well. So now, looking at this one, safety car still staying out. Lap 20 restart or lap 21 restart. So only 5 about laps. Definitely those on the soft tires would have to do an absolute mega job on all of those ahead of them to make any progress at the moment in this one. But I'm not, honestly, you know, with how that crash was causing that another second safety car, definitely this has to be reviewed by the stewards in terms of how good it was. But so we'll just pick this action as soon as is. We've lost 2 drivers in this one, which is, as I said earlier, absolutely done an exceptional job so far. As I said, 16 drivers were going to be finishing. First I said 15, but brother increased to 16 because surely the driving standard has been pretty excellent around here so far in this season. So only 2 of them out. One of them, actually we missed out both of them. We saw one of them getting out on screen, the other, I'm not sure how it was, but I'm sure, I mean, it's Saudi Arabia, these things happen, a street circuit, not always going to be perfect. All okay, as we are just now waiting if this one is going to be going into the pit lane. We're about to find out. Alright then, the safety car still stays out. That means we're going to have another lap under the safety car and behind the safety car then, and that'll mean that as it stands, a lap 21 restart, which will give us about 5 laps to the end, including the one, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, lap 25. So about 5 laps to the end of the Grand Prix. It's nothing short of a sprint, and all those on a set of hards, on a set of mediums. But I might have to fight with the ones on a set of softs, but they're far away. I mean, at least nobody in the top 5 should be worried about it, because Macho in P11 at the moment, Dave in P12, but Fino and Special in P11, 13 and 14, and Freddy back in P17. Maybe somebody can, get a fastest lap from these guys, but at least no laps. So Tyron still has that fastest lap. Maybe we'll see somebody on the soft compound tower take it, but we're yet. Just yet to find out, and as soon as we're ready to go racing, let's see if the safety car is into the pit lane, and we'll pick up all the action we can. So now looking at this one, safety car going in. Tyron leads from Checo, ahead of Russo, ahead of Helmet, ahead of Evil in the top 5. Just outside are Days, Brooks, Edward, Cutter Reeves and Brando could be in the top 10. Meanwhile, Checo almost going side by side with Tyron out there. They're double file at the moment. They're not allowed to do this actually in real life Formula 1 anymore, but they're all going for it. The whole field is bunched up this time. Tyron might feel a bit of pressure on himself, but in fact, Russo's going to put all that pressure on Checo now. Checo's going defensive on the inside line. Now goes back to that racing line now. Very well done for himself to really defend his position at the moment. Meanwhile, Cutter Reeves is going straight into the pit lane along with some of the drivers. Not quite sure what happened there at the back, but they're all heading into the pit lane along with Fino at the moment in P13. He might have lost out positions out there at that restart. Mino going side by side with Edward. Who's got Freddy, that is. They're still going side by side. Who's going to be late on the brakes? So they're almost wheel to wheel once more. There's going to be problems in the pack on this restart. Surely there was going to be some with only 5 laps remaining to the end. The problems were going to be pretty much a lot of them out there, and they already are. We're not even a whole lap done, and there is problems much already into P10 as it stands. After the first safety car restart, he was in P3, remember, so he surely needs to make this progress. P10 and 11 for both the Red Bull drivers as it stands. Pete and P9 for Dave. Has he went towards the wall? It looked like he might have went towards the wall there, but no, he has not. With Brando in P8 at the moment. D's in P7, just about 2/10 behind Brooks, who's not far ahead as well on the track, because definitely now that McLaren driver is going to be struggling left, right and centre to defend from that Ferrari. Down the inside or around the outside, there could be a chance for Days, and on the inside line, he's going to send it even before that braking zone. He's just going to move to the left-hand side and overtake that McLaren, but as he made the move, stick there, because the McLaren driver might try and come back at him on this time now, though. In fact, Brendo's going to go for it now on the inside line. He's going to switch to the inside and make that move, but no, that's not going to be enough, because both of them are using all of their batteries, as McLaren might have just made that move. That Mercy's going to go down the inside line, send it, but that McLaren once more just going to find enough traction, enough grip on the exit of turn 1 and keep his position to himself. P7 from Brooks out there, keep it to himself. Meanwhile, Dave might have just made his position back once more, as he's between those two Red Bulls who are stuck behind the Haas of Dave. He's came in as a reserve, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, but he's driving fabulously well at the moment here and doing a good job trying to stay ahead of Fino and Macho out there, as Brando, Brooks are going to be fighting each other, because for a moment you could have thought that Brendo's through on Brooks, but he could not overtake him. But now another DRS zone coming up soon. There's going to be no DRS on this one, of course, but definitely there's going to be chance for Brendo to be going for it with that straight, with a bit of an overtaking opportunity, a bit of a breathing space for him, and no more corners here around South. In fact, DRS is enabled, but the car ahead also has his rearing open. Both of them getting that, but definitely the Sauber has made some progress. The Sauber has surely made a bunch of progress on that Sauber, and now position could be switching up right here, because Brooks is going to go defensive, but Brendan's going to go find his chance, go for it down the inside line and into the final corner. Yes, he will, but the McLaren might find enough grip and traction to come back at him, but not at the moment though, just not right now. But he might have his rearing opening, the McLaren. Yes, he will. The detection point for both the drivers have their rearing open, but the McLaren or Brooks now might have a chance to go for it in stand one. Is he going to send it? No, he will not. Just about stays out of it. Dave, meanwhile, is fighting with these two Red Bulls round the outside. Both of them might make a move on Dave out here. One Red Bull overtakes the Haas. The other one could be on the way as well. He's going to send it as well. Both of them might now collide, but just about enough as the Red Bull of Fino goes a little bit wide. Meanwhile, Special is right behind as well. Might try and overtake Special overtake Fino there, because both of them are on a set of soft compound tyres. This is surely Cardiff. This is surely Cinema out here at the moment. Cardiff has left the session. He might have retired, and he has retired out of the session. Not sure where he has, but there's not enough laps for a safety car to be coming out right now at the moment as it stands. Meanwhile, Tyrone still leads ahead of Checo. 4.1 seconds from Tyrone. Russo in P2. P3 with 3.4 seconds behind Checo, but only 4/10 behind. Russo is a helmet out here, because this could be interesting. Final place on the podium. The fight could be out there, which we might just be seeing between these two. A Ferrari and a Racing Bulls car fighting each other off. One has the rearing opening, the other doesn't have it. He has extra speed. He has 15 kilometers an hour, extra speed around the outside or on the inside line. Where does he find the comfort to overtake? He sends it on the inside line, but what an aggressive braking from Russo there, as he just keeps it ahead of the RB. He might not have the DRS now. Once more, there's going to be an opportunity for Helmet. Go around the outside. Lap 24, they enter the second last lap, and who's going to be late on the brakes towards stand one? It is going to be the RB, as the Ferrari moves to behind him, and really not go too aggressive. And so many overtakes, so many drivers. This one is another one, as Dees is fighting with Brendo at the moment. Both of them are going side by side, and Dees has to be the one staying ahead of the Sauber. Meanwhile, one Sauber and Ferrari at the front, the other Sauber and Ferrari at the mid of the points scoring positions. This is surely cinema stuff. This is surely excellent stuff from these drivers as it stands. There's a yellow flag at the back, not quite sure what happened, and that has to be a Sauber, and that is a Sauber of Brando, and now he'll be retiring from this session. Not sure what happened, because he was fighting with Dees, but they might have collided out on the track. We don't know, so we can't quite comment on what exactly happened, but they might have ended up colliding with each other. Tyrone still leads from 4 in a row. That is some brilliant dominance from Tyrone at the moment. Checo in P2 with hard helmet in P3. He's made that move on Russo, and he still keeps it to himself so far. He doesn't get that rearing open now. Heading towards the final lap of the Grand Prix. There might be some more action at the front and the back, as well as none of the Red Bulls. Actually, Fino's made a couple of positions. His teammate hasn't. Any special is going to be making a move, and Dave hasn't got any front wing to get to himself. Not sure whether he collided with the Red Bulls or any other car, because now just heading towards into the final lap. He hasn't got any front wing, and he might be heading into the pit lane to retire, because not much he can do now. Heads into the pit lane very fast, gets that penalty, but he might be now not retiring from this race into the final one. There's going to be the Mercedes of Midu heading towards the wall on the outside. Just getting overtaken by the Red Bull into turn 2, and there's going to be problems, as D's got a front wing end plate missing as well. Yes, he is. We've got a left front wing left end plate missing out there as it stands. Then going to our race leader, the man is just making progress. Meanwhile, third place on the podium is still up for grabs as Checo and Tyrone are on their way away from the rest of the pack, far away from the rest of the pack, but others might be on the way as it stands, as only 8 tenths, 9 tenths separating these two. Helmet and Russo, Evil's not far behind as well in P5. Anything could happen, many things could be happening, but if something was consistent and stayed the same throughout, it was Tyron and the speed of this man, as Tyron is gonna be on his way, making his way around the final corner and up to the finish line as he wins the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix and takes 4 wins in a row this season. Checo does an absolute great performance to finish up just second to Tyron, and a great performance from Helmet as well, as he's just going to be finishing 4th, pretty close, with Russo finishing 4th on track, with Vino and Evil with a penalty. In fact, Helmet finished 3rd, but that penalty to him has allowed Evil to go on to the podium and take that 3rd place. That pushes him to 4th, Vino in 5th, with Russo in 6th, and for D's in 7th, 6th and 7th for Ferrari, with Midu in P8, with Macho in P9. The final point scoring position goes to Brooks in P10, with Special in P11. He tried good, did great racing throughout the race, but only good enough for P11, just outside. Then comes Romero. We saw him make some excellent aggressive driving. P11, P12 for one of the Aston Martin drivers. And this was an absolute amazing race. It was a fantastic race. I mean, I won't be too wrong if I say this was the race of the season so far, because so many drivers going side by side, so many overtakes throughout this one. Absolutely amazing. And these are your podium celebrations, and Tyron once more has an absolute great job. Driver of the day, Finu takes that. Tyron, fastest lap race winner and cleanest driver as well. Overtakes for the Ferrari of Russo. Starting 13, finishing 6th. And these are your racing race finish results. Then Tyron wins the Saudi Arabian GP with Checo in P2, followed by Evil in P3. Then comes Helmet in P4 with Fino in P5. Good job from him, starting 19th. In 19th place, deserved the driver of the day, with Russo in P6, D's in P7, with Midu, Macho and Brooks completing the top 10. Then comes Special in P11, Romero, Freddy, Edward and Codereeps in P15. Then came Dave retiring along with Brando, Cordes and somebody else. So actually, only 15 drivers finished, so we did get our prediction right of only 16 drivers finishing then here around Saudi. And it was a fantastic and absolute great race from all of these drivers and everyone around here. I hope all of you watching really enjoyed it. It was myself, Zabe, and from all of us here at the New Age Championship. See you soon next week.